The National Virtual Core Library, or NVCL, is an online database and analytics platform that hosts images of drill core and related datasets from right around Australia. It allows us to create a really detailed mineralogical picture of the top 1 to 2 kilometres of the Australian crust right across the continent, and forms a critical component of AuScope's downward-looking telescope. The NVCL was created about 15 years ago when we realised that there was an enormous amount of money going into drilling holes in Australia, but much of the data that should have been collected wasn't. So we built the NVCL so that we could record data from these drill holes before the drill cores were thrown away. As a result, we created this system that allowed us to scan drill core, to record that forever and to make it available to the Australian research community. It was the first of its kind, and it's the world's largest mineralogical database with over 100 million data points. It's a collaborative effort, all of the state geological surveys are involved, and there's new data being added all the time. The HiLogger is the system that sits behind the NVCL that creates an image of the centre of a piece of drill core. It creates an optical image as well as ultraviolet and infrared portions of the spectra, which gives us a huge amount of information about the mineralogy involved and allows us to understand how they formed. The data in the NVCL is incredibly easy to access. It was designed for geologists, so it has tools that make sense to geologists, so you can play around and manipulate the data. You can discover where the data was from, so you can see maps that show you where the holes are. But best of all, the data's open and free, so anybody, anywhere in the world can access it, can get the data they're interested in, and can use it in whatever way they want. The National Virtual Core Library and the HiLogger data that sits behind it is incredibly important to the minerals industry. It allows us to understand how mineral systems work, and we do that by building three-dimensional models with the HiLogger data that describe the shape of mineral systems and of ore bodies and how best to mine them. And it's really, really valuable looking for critical minerals such as lithium and vanadium, which are going to be so important to Australia's future as we develop new battery technologies, but are very difficult to find, especially when they're hidden by shallow cover. The NVCL system has been embraced by Australian geologists for over 10 years now, but it's starting to be noticed globally as well. So a number of geological surveys from around the world have approached CSIRO and AuScope, and their intention is to build NVCL systems of their own to deliver geological data and drill core data in the same way that we've been able to do to the Australian community. Recently, the NVCL team and the broader Australian research community have been thinking about what's next for the NVCL system. We hope that it'll become a knowledge hub and that it'll expand its reach just beyond minerals, but also into groundwater, into geohazards, and into a whole range of other activities that are relevant to geoscience research.